Get ready to enjoy the best podcast of your life on The Courtney Show podcast, fueled by Salt and Smoke.
The Courtney Show.
Good morning. It is The Courtney Show, and it's a really sad morning for us because yesterday the news of our friend Jen Myers, farmer, passing away at the age of 49. And it's going to be a weird show. It's going to be hard to process. I know that it was a shock to everyone that saw the news yesterday on social media after her obituary was posted. Mm-hmm. And because it was just shocking. I was shocked myself because Jen actually sent me a text on Monday and wished me a happy birthday. And I had no idea that she was doing so poorly. So I texted her back. And then Tuesday, I got word that she had gone into hospice care. And it was I texted, I didn't want to bother her, so I texted with Ryan, her husband, and he said, yeah, it's fast. She's gone downhill really, really fast. And then yesterday morning, Jen passed away after her 8-year battle with cancer.
8 years. 8
years. I mean, I saw her just a few months ago, and we would text, and she was constantly sending me things. You know, she was constantly sending me stories or funny things that she saw, or just making sure that you just couldn't take the radio out of Jen.
Right.
She loved it.
She was an informer.
So much. She got into radio because of her love of music. That started it, and then she was one of the best on-air jocks, as we call it, I've ever heard. Like, being in a studio by herself, she was so good. That is such a gift and such a talent, and I can't imagine sitting in a studio by yourself and making sense of anything when you're not talking to anyone.
You're just talking to a wall.
Well, I've always done shows, and then she left that comfort zone to come to the morning show at Y98 with me and Guy and Kevin and Lance, and she was a perfect fit, just a perfect fit. And we had 14 years on the air together, and I mean, in those 14 years, I learned a lot about Jen because you're talking all the time. You're in a studio for 4 hours. Just the 4 years we've known each other, I know you so well. It's this confined space of intimacy. I mean, it's
not like a regular job.
Not.
You can work right next to somebody for 14 years and still not get to know them.
The amount of
office.
words you say to that coworker is not the same as we had to talk about way too much stuff on the air. And then off the air. Off the air, we're talking trash on things, and, we're laughing at things. We're laughing at each other, embarrassing ourselves. We bring up stories about the other that we know the other's not going to love we're bringing up. Mm-hmm. But she was, and the great thing is, the audience is really hard on women. Women are hard on women. Mm-hmm. I know we make this joke that I hate women. And I think that comes from, that joke started because that's what happens every day. We as women in the workforce, we easily, throw each other aside. Mm-hmm. We think men are going to help us get to where we need to go instead of rallying together. She was a girl's girl. That's for sure. That's one thing I know. She was not from here, Jen wasn't. She was originally from Buffalo, New York. And she left her home state of New York and went to Des Moines. And then from Des Moines, she came here. And this became her home. And it's because she found this incredible, I've been thinking about her friends. Of course, I've been thinking about Ryan, Finn, and Nora nonstop. Just nonstop. But her friends that she made here, I don't think any of them were in radio, but this group that she brought together and became best friends with were an incredible family and a support system. And what they did during this battle that she put up, I mean, they rallied around her all the time. Anytime she needed anything. I think they were all a lot like her. They were that type A personality.
Yeah, the doers.
They are all doers. Like, they're all they excel at their jobs and they just can't sit around. They needed to do things. But she built this family here in St. Louis. Ryan's not from here, her husband. She's not from here. You wouldn't know it. You would not know that St. Louis wasn't where she was born and raised, because that's how much she loved this city. She loved radio. She loved music. She loved going to concerts. So I've been, my heart's been warmed by seeing so many people sharing the obituary yesterday and giving their own memories of Jen. It's weird because we were at the same place for so long, and it would be great today to be able to play all these clips of Jen, but we don't own those clips. So I was trying to wrap my brain around what can we do to pay tribute to Jen, and we are going to have people in studio, her coworkers, Guy, Lance is going to swing by a little later. I think we might have the guy that hired Jen from Des Moines maybe make an appearance. We're going to reach out to him. And you worked with him, Kevin. But we just want to make sure that we play a lot of her music, which is why she got into radio in the first place. You're going to see the layers of Jen today. I mean, it's all, you saw the playlist.
Yeah, there's a lot of songs.
There's a lot of, we obviously can't play her full playlist, but I thought of 2 songs immediately. And when I texted Ryan to get music from him, he immediately said the one song I had in mind. I go, don't worry, I know that one. I believe we're probably going to end the show with that. But, and it's funny because but some of them are very meaningful. And I think she took solace, like when she was going through chemo time after time, radiation time after time. I think music.
I'm sure it's a lot of time you spend sitting in the chemo chair, probably listening to music.
Constantly. And she would also, of course, text me about show stuff that she enjoyed, because I think the podcast brought her some happiness. It's going to be a little bit of a jumble. My brain is a jumble. I have so many notes about things about Jen. I mean, she struggled with infertility for a long time before she was so happy to be a mom. She just wanted to be a mom. She just knew she wanted to be a mom. And so when she had Finn, it was the most joyous thing ever. And I know a lot of people out there when they were listening, because I saw this time and time again. And that's what we don't realize that we do every day when we're going through things and put ourselves out there and let the audience know this is what's happening in my life. Because we have to come in here and do a show.
Yeah.
People don't know behind the scenes what our struggles are. And Jen shared that infertility journey. And I saw from people saying, I was going through the same thing at the same time. And this is a lot of years ago. And for Jen to open up about what she was going through made me feel like I had somebody that was a friend and heard me and all the things I was going through. Because she was pissed. She would she was so angry. Like, why isn't this happening? And then she had Finn. And then she had Nora. And it was just the greatest blessing of her entire life, having those children. And I know she wanted to see all of the firsts for them and be there with them. I mean, even when she was at her, not doing well, I met her at the baseball field to watch Finn play because she still wanted to be a part of it. That brought her so much joy. And I can't imagine how those kids, what they're going through. I mean, they've watched their mom for 8 years deal with this unimaginable illness. And man, she'd get good news and then she'd get punched again and she'd get bad news. And then there were trials and then those trials weren't working. So there was something else. But she would always, she texted me, she kept me updated until recently. I did not know because she was pretty open about, hey, I just had these scans and this is going well. This isn't going well.
People were always asking you too, like, hey, how's Jen? And, you would give the updates.
Yes. I mean, I just don't know after fighting that fight for so long, it's still not real to me. I've seen her picture on an obituary. I know it was a gut punch to so many people. Because when we heard about the hospice thing, it was a gut punch to me. I'm like, she took the time out. She was probably feeling like crap to wish me a happy birthday.
Yeah. Well, and you just got so used to her in the fight.
Yes.
8 years, you're like, she's just, duking it out with this.
14 years of working that close with somebody, you know how it is. You hear all of everything they're going through.
Mm-hmm.
You hear about, every single thing. I know more about cancer because of working with her.
Oh, yeah.
I know about scans. I know about, counts and and her friends are the same way. And so today we wanted to be a celebration. And I'm sure, there's going to be tears today for sure, but I wanted to make it more happy and I want you to get a little taste of Jen through music.
Mm-hmm.
Because, man, she loved music so much. So we're going to do, a lot of Jen and, talk to people sharing stories. And we'd love to hear your memories of Jen as well. Things that made you laugh. Like maybe it was a moment on the show. Not just because she is not just cancer. She was so many other things before that diagnosis. But I know her going through it, other people listening were going through it. And they felt this bond with her, which is a terrible, terrible bond to have. But you had somebody you were hearing on the radio every day talking about the struggles they were going through. But I do want to make it like just a really joyous occasion and do the things that she loves. Like we're going to do Hollywood Outsider because everybody knew Jen for entertainment news, and Jen loved pop culture. Mm-hmm. She loved it all. She would text me about shows I needed to watch. She didn't like all the trash I enjoyed, all the trashy TV, not quite as much, but she got it. So we're going to do Hollywood Outsider for sure. And maybe a little, just little segments here and there of stuff that we normally do. But we're going to try to get in as many Jen songs as we can today.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing just all the songs. I think, especially music was so important to her, getting into this business for that, to just be like 4 hours of my music on the air.
Yes.
You don't get to do that as a DJ.
You never get to do that.
Yeah.
And some of the songs we obviously don't have. But she's got an arch-centric playlist.
Yeah.
But she also has this cool factor, too. Mm-hmm. I knew her very first band that she loved was the Pixies. She loved the Pixies, and how she found out about the Pixies was by she was reading Sassy Magazine, I believe it was, if I'm getting my information correct, and they had a write-up about the Pixies. And Jen wanted to be ahead of the curve on stuff. Mm-hmm. So I think she went out and bought a Pixies tape. I'm thinking it's a tape. It's got to be a tape.
Oh, yeah.
A tape, and it became one of her very favorite bands. But she also loved a musical. She loved Grease 2, people. She did not diss Grease 2. But, there's different eras of Jen that you're going to hear today, too. Like some of the stuff she was probably listening to when she was growing up. She got a little older. I think her last concert, and I'm probably going to have Marty get this for us because we have to play one of these songs, since I think it was her last concert she attended was Vampire Weekend. And that was
really?
Just not too long ago. So I know that they're on the playlist as well. But you're going to hear, and she's from Buffalo, so she has a love for the Goo Goo Dolls because they're from her area.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, let's play a lot of Jen songs today and remember all of the fun she brought us through the years. And then Guy's going to come in around 6:30 this morning, and we'll do some Hollywood stuff, and we'll be silly like she wants us to be, because that's what she had the most joy from. Guy, especially being just sometimes sleep deprived and not knowing what he was saying. She loved it so much. And then Lance will come in. Tim's going to come in, even though he's off today. He's going to stop by and share some memories. Marty's going to come in as well. But if you guys want to share any of your favorite Jen moments, we would love to hear from you. And Again, you're going to hear a lot of Jen music today. So if you guys want to text us, we will. The only songs that will not be Jen specific will be our Tap the App artist of the day.
Yeah, a lot of Def Leppard songs in this too. Not that she didn't like Def Leppard. We don't know.
I don't know her feelings about Def Leppard, but yeah, Def Leppard is your artist of the day.
I didn't see it on the list of her songs.
Yeah, I didn't either. I did see some Asia, though. So we'll probably do that as well. So, yeah, if you guys want to text us, Def Leppard, Tap the App. That's your artist of the day. When you hear Def Leppard, you'll hear Def Leppard every hour. And then you tap your app on the Arch app, and you're registered to win $1,000. We're going to probably give that out Monday, I think, $1,000 a week. But if you want to text us, the Cheney window and door text line is 314-669-4665.
The Hollywood Outsider on 106.5 The Arch.
Well, let's just start with a really bizarre story. Jamie Foxx reportedly blamed Diddy for his hospitalization last year during the taping for his upcoming Netflix special. He, according to a couple different sources that say that they were there, he says Diddy poisoned him.
What?
Like, is he joking? So one witness says Jamie said Diddy, quote, did something to Jamie that caused his hospitalization, and that he's the one that called the FBI on him. And then, so there was another witness.
He's saying he's the one that started all this.
He's like, I'm the one that called the FBI, and then Diddy did something to me. Another person said, oh no, he said he poisoned him. And then there's a third witness that was like, I was at the taping. He didn't say anything about that, but he did make a ton of Diddy jokes, but he didn't blame him for his health issues. But here's the thing, like, I don't know if it's the same audience. Like, how many tapings did they do for a special? You know,
I have no idea.
Sometimes it's multiple tapings. So in one taping, he may have said that. Another taping, he didn't. But we've got 3 different witnesses all kind of saying different things. But 2 of them are saying that he blamed him in some way, shape, or form for whatever his illness is, which we still don't know. We still don't know what happened to him.
I don't think you're allowed to talk about this illness unless you tell us what it is.
I know. It's like, stop. Either just say, like, I'm not going to talk about it at all, or come clean. But this, like, cat and mouse with it all the time, it's just very weird. I don't get it. But anyway, so that's the big story today. I'm sure there's going to be other people that are, because there had to be tons of people at the taping. There's more than 3 people at a taping for a comedy special. So now after today, I'm sure we're going to hear from others that are going to say either, yes, that's what he said, or no. But they all have to sign stuff, I would think. You know, like,
yes, I thought that was part of the
tape. You can't. So yeah, we have no idea, and we don't know when this special is going to come out.
Yeah.
So we may have to wait.
It's very mysterious.
I don't like it. Just be honest. Let's just move on.
Yes.
Nikki was on Thursday Night Football last night, and she was pretty great.
But it really is great to be here tonight in the biggest building in Los Angeles that isn't owned by Scientology. SoFi Stadium, home to the Rams. And did you guys know the Chargers also play here? That must be so confusing for their fan. But that's how high the rent prices are in LA. Even billion-dollar sports franchises need to have a roommate. But the Rams needed this win even more. And they finally had all of their offensive weapons back in Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, and Tutu Atwell, which I learned are the names of wide receivers and not characters from Trolls World Tour.
They're actually laughing.
Yes, it was so much better. Like, the first time she was on, her jokes were great, but then they were like, kept talking and like trying to interact with her. And it was like, no, just be quiet and laugh, you know, have fun with what's going on. And last night, I mean, I haven't seen all of them, but last night was great. They were all just laughing along. And she's like, so many of her jokes are really spawned from the game, you know, so.
Man, so they're back there just busting.
I think she's cranking out extra stuff as the game's going on.
I wonder who her sports people are. Who's her comedy sports help? Because she's got to have people helping her.
I would hope so. I mean, I think some of it, because she even makes a joke like later in talking about like, I was so glad that this guy did something tonight because I had so many jokes written about him.
Yeah, right.
But I put the whole thing up on the blog if you want to check it out today, her whole appearance. But it was really, really funny, and they were all getting a good kick out of it. So I was glad to see that. Sebastian Maniscalco is working on a new special, which is going to air on Hulu. Now, they don't do a ton of specials on Hulu. Like Netflix, they'll release 5 new stand-up specials in a month. Hulu, I think, does 1 every month. So it's a big deal to get the special on Hulu because it gets really good exposure. And the production company that has been hired for the production of the special for Sebastian Maniscalco is a company called Done and Dusted. Does that sound familiar at all?
Yes, it sure does. Is that the company Chris Convey works for?
Yes, that is absolutely the company that Chris. So
I think Chris Convey might have helped this Done and Dusted with the comedy realm.
Yes.
Just saying.
Well, just a little bit. So we've known this is in the works for a while.
Yes, we have.
But we have not been able to say anything. It's in the news today.
It's in the news where we can say
I think we can go ahead and say
that he's been working on that as well as this other thing.
Yeah. This is one of the big projects that he's got coming out that he'll be a part of. So Sebastian Maniscalco's big special, which will be on Hulu. I don't have a date as to when that'll be available.
Nope, there's no date.
But
now Hulu is going to be the new, well, they're not going to be the comedy king, but they're slowly but surely.
Yes, getting into it.
And they've got some big names, so.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's exciting for him because Maniscalco is huge right now. And
if only Hulu could just rid themselves of some of the ads, the Hims ads really are too much.
Yeah, or just the fact that it's the same 2 commercials.
But they're just
every time
a little
They're so aggressive.
They are so aggressive.
Where you're like, wow, I thought the carrot one was bad.
I thought that, this is, when we get it, like, is this really on TV on a commercial? The Bears Charmin ads were a lot for me to handle.
Yeah.
These are another level.
Hims is like, just hold my toilet paper.
There's some that have shocked me in my life, but now anything goes, but I still have that feeling of being shocked.
There's some pearl clutching going on.
Do you remember when, this is off the subject, but this is commercials. I remember being shocked by some kind of razor ad for women, and it showed a woman standing there, and she was trimming like a topiary right in front of her area.
Oh, I wonder what that was.
It was a razor. It was some kind of razor ad. But this seems, like you said, aggressive.
Yeah.
I know what you guys are trying to do there, but this is a lot.
I remember one where it was specifically talking about bikini line, and it was a cartoon, but they were puberty hairs.
Puberty.
And I'm like, whoa, okay. I mean, I get what's going on there.
Yes.
Do we have to see the kink?
That's what the topiaries were supposed to be mimicking. I'm like, hey.
Like, whoa. We don't need that. We understand. The LA District Attorney will recommend that the Menendez brothers be resentenced and made eligible for parole. So they have served 34 years in prison for the murder of their parents. So the recommendation for the brothers is to be resentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole. That would be considered then by the Los Angeles Superior Court judge. If that judge grants this resentencing, then a parole board would have the option to be able to determine whether either of them should be set free. So it's not like...
It's not a done deal.
It's not a magic wand and all of a sudden these guys are free, but it does change like their trajectory that they could possibly get out. It sounds like they've been very good in prison, good behavior and everything. So we'll just have to see. But that was a big story yesterday because I think it was the original prosecutor or something that was basically saying like...
Let's not forget this guy is behind in the polls too.
Oh, the guy that's doing it?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I didn't realize that.
Mm-hmm.
Helen Mirren thinks it's sad that Kurt Cobain passed away in 1994 because he never got to see GPS. I have no idea how this came up. She was on a podcast. They were talking about stuff, and she threw that out there, and people were like, what is she talking about? But she talks about how GPS, she's enamored by it. She said, it's the most wonderful thing to watch. My little blue spot walking down the street. I just find it completely magical and unbelievable. Which, I agree, GPS is pretty amazing. Why she put that together with Kurt Cobain, I don't understand.
Bizarre.
Just like, what's sad? Kurt Cobain never got to experience GPS.
So weird.
Like, I don't know that he would have cared.
No,
he
he
seems
does-
like the type of person who would be like, no smartphone, no technology.
When you get older, you change.
Maybe.
You know, who thought we'd be watching, looking at the weather all the time?
Yeah.
Or trying to figure out birds. And as Greg Warren says, he needs to learn about trees.
He's learning about trees as you get older. Tim Burton doesn't like technology. He avoids the internet. He said it just makes him depressed. He seems already depressed.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the internet that's doing it, Tim. Love your movies, though. Love your work.
Yeah, he doesn't seem happy. I don't see him skipping ever in his life.
No. He just needs to watch more cat videos, and you'll be fine. If you thought that Hannibal Lecter's mask looked a lot like a hockey mask, you're right. So Ed Cubberley is the guy that they hired to design it, and he also designed a bunch of goalie masks over the years for the NHL.
I found that to be really interesting.
Yeah, and I knew that name.
And what is this thing with horror, scary masks that have that scary goalie mask look?
We love that goalie look. So he basically took an old style hockey mask, and he just used the bottom portion, so it's cut off essentially. And then he put bars over the mouth instead of the holes, so you could actually see Hannibal Lecter's mouth, so you could see his snarl. And then he also recommended that they keep it the natural fiberglass color. So instead of painting it white or orange or something, he said, no, just keep it that weird natural color, because it looks more of it's got more of a prison vibe. And he's right. And there's actually other origin stories of horror movie masks up on the blog today. I think there's 6 other ones. So if you want to check it out, you can. Just go to 1065thearch.com. Jimmy Fallon is going to do an NBC special to go along with his new holiday album. So he's going to have a special that goes along with it. And he's going to have a bunch of guests, too. Dolly Parton, Justin Timberlake, the Jonas Brothers, LL Cool J, and Weird Al Yankovic is going to be on the special, too, which is very cool. USA Today put together a list of the 75 best horror movies of this century. And I'm such a dummy. It said, of this century, and I couldn't figure out when is this century? Is it
right now?
Are we in the right century?
Who's that?
Hey, look, it's Guy Phillips.
Hey, I'm here.
Don't fall.
Be careful, man. That's a dangerous chair, by
Be
the way.
careful.
It really
with those
is.
hips.
I don't want to. I'm falling and I can't get up.
So Guy came in because we're going to talk about Jen. And, of course, we had to do entertainment because Jen...
Oh, my gosh.
did
She was
anybody-
all about it.
Yes, the
Yeah.
shmig. Some people think we should be calling it the shmig today.
Oh, yeah, we probably should.
It's funny about the entertainment thing. If somebody ran in and said, Jen, Russia is attacking. There are bombs coming our way. She says, I've got to finish this report.
But this, I've got a Kim Kardashian story.
Exactly.
That
It was
needs to
that,
get out there.
that important to her. Yeah.
That's it. Anyway, that list is on the blog if you want to check it out. And that's your entertainment news.
We're going to hit another song. When we come back, we're going to talk to Guy Phillips. Somebody sent in a funny story because I asked people for memories.
Yeah.
And, obviously, she was so tied to so many people because of infertility, the birth of her kids that was miraculous, and then her cancer diagnosis and fight. So that is such a,
It's a connection.
because
Sure.
people that were fighting it. But somebody sent me a moment that brought her a lot of joy because she said it brought both Jen and I so much joy. And of course, it involves you.
It had to.
And we're going to talk about that. But what we're going to do all morning is play. I got Jen's favorite playlist.
Oh.
And so Ryan sent it to me last night. And we're going to pepper the show with all of Jen music.
The only song that I can remember that Jen...
You can't say it don't say it out loud.
It's probably
I
the same
can't-
one.
We're going to end the show with it.
Oh, are we? Okay, all right.
Yes.
I
Remember
won't.
I set up a mystery guest for her and she
Yes.
cried?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
2 times she cried hard on guests.
Are you going to play that at the end of your show?
End of the
'Cause
show.
I'm out. I always say we got to celebrate Jen's life, but she would be the last person in the world to say, be sad over, my passing. That's why I'm playing golf today. That's the excuse I use.
But music was at the crux of everything. Why she got into radio.
Yeah.
Much like me. That is not your same path
No,
at
no.
all. Guy just wanted to talk.
No,
Guys, people need to hear me.
Can I tell you, I don't know anything about music. You know, I could be watching the A-Team and think it was AC/DC. I have no idea.
Well, we're playing another one of Jen's favorites right now. It is Nick Lowe, a little Cruel to Be Kind. More with Guy coming up in just a few minutes. It's The Courtney Show on The Arch.
Hi, I'm Mark Cantor. My law firm is Cantor Injury Law. Honor, integrity, loyalty, faith, and family are the principles and the foundation of Cantor Injury Law, and why we get justice for the injured and can win you the big bucks. If you have been in a car accident, truck accident, boating, or ATV crash, or even had a dog bite, please call Cantor Injury Law, 314-628-9999. There's no fee unless you win. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisement.
Oh, hey, this is Tom from Salt and Smoke. I like this podcast because it's made by real people who bring their own take on what's doing. Makes my day a little nicer to hear them talk. That's kind of what we try to do at Salt and Smoke. Real food from scratch, made the way we think is best to make your day have a little more flavor. Find your bestie at saltandsmokebbq.com. Oh, and Chris isn't that funny.
The Courtney Show.
Today we are remembering our friend and coworker and family member, Jen Myers. Jen Farmer is her name.
Jen Beliotti.
I was really always mad she did not use Beliotti. Isn't that the best name?
Oh, that's impressive.
Yes.
It is. And, you know, my big regret in life is that I wasn't born Italian. I love that name. And I was talking to my son about it yesterday about, you know, why she would use a radio name. And people still do that. And I guess if you got a name like, you know... I'm trying not to be dirty.
Smorgasbord?
Yeah. Larry Smorgasbord. You know, you'd want to change your name to something more Sullivan, you know, or something.
Myers was a big radio programming name.
Was it? I didn't know that.
I knew like 5 Radio Myers.
Yeah.
Really?
My favorite thing about Jen, though, she would get ticked off. I mean, to the point of like... We would start laughing because she'd get so mad about this when people we worked with misspelled her fake name.
Yeah, she'd sit at her desk and she goes, how long is it going to take before people know it's Myers, not Mers?
She would get so mad about her, not even her real name, but people we worked with that are selling her or supposed to sell the show, they don't even know her. Oh, she would get hot.
Yeah, I know she really did. And Courtney would laugh at her, and that would make her so frustrated. You know, don't you guys understand it? I said, listen, I get letters, Guy, Philups, you know, or...
The Beliotti had so much character.
Yeah.
Well, you think they misspelled Myers? They would have had a field day with
Beliotti.
But still, Myers is... It was just people we worked with.
Beliotti is a name you would remember.
Yeah, it's just got a little...
It's got a little sing to it.
It's got character.
Yep. Yeah, I like it.
You know, I always wanted to put that Van in front of my name.
Yeah, I know, right? Courtney Van Landers.
Well, I mean,
still time.
It's classy. And there's not enough... I have too many wrong names. Did I ever tell you about my credit card story?
No. Well, maybe. I don't know.
So I got a credit card. I filled out the information because I was going to get all these miles on... I think Jen loved the story. I'm saying that just so I can tell it. I'm almost positive she loved the story.
Wherever she is, she's laughing at that one. That's good. Yeah.
So I'm like, ooh, I can get like 70,000 miles or whatever. I'm like, yeah, you know, whatever. I'll get a credit card. So I fill it out. I get it in the mail. And I notice, I don't think I noticed it right away. But then I noticed that they spelled my first name Courtney. Curtney. And I came on there. I'm like, they misspelled my name. I'm Courtney now. And do I have to like sign Courtney on things?
Wait, you got the credit card and it was wrong?
I got the credit card, and the credit card said Courtney.
Oh, okay. So not the application thing, not the thing that they sent to you was wrong. The actual credit card was wrong.
The credit card was wrong.
Oh, okay.
I think you filled it out by hand. Right?
Yeah, I filled it by because you're on.
Sure.
Yeah. So then I didn't even notice this right away. My last name was spelled wrong, too. It said Courtney Landram. So I have to call them in the studio. Why did I call them?
I don't know. You were in here and you're like, I got to call and fix this.
Yes. And so I called the credit card company.
And I start laughing because I know what's coming.
Yeah,
and they asked me my name. And I go, Courtney Landram.
Why don't have you in the computer?
And then they resent it to me and still had like one of the name. It's still wrong.
Do you ever wonder if the people that answer the phone there go, they gave me the name of Steve. I don't like that name. I don't know anyone named Steve. Because you know when they call.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome. My name is Brad.
I did get a text from Danelle, and she told him she has a pretty incredible memory of Jen. She said, listener for 30 years, one of my favorite memories of you and Jen on the air was when Guy Phillips was telling some sort of vacation story where he got a massage, and let's just say the woman got a little too friendly with him. And while he was describing it, you and Jen were freaking out and telling him what was actually going on during his massage. You guys went on the break, came back on the air, and Jen had to step outside. And I remember Kevin specifically saying, I think they got the vapors. It made me laugh. That story, I mean, I couldn't, as you kept revealing more and more of the story, I was on the floor laughing.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And the place was called?
It was called Massage Hospital.
Yes.
Yes. Because they put it on your credit card, so it looks like, if your wife...
Seems very clinical.
Yeah,
So we went to
You went to the hospital?
went to a place, like just wanting an honest-to-goodness massage. And
yeah.
there was a little...
I did not get the happy ending.
There was a little closeness to the area.
Some grazing.
Well,
There was some definite grazing.
Grazing in the valley, as I like to refer to it. And the craziest thing about that is I should have known from the get-go. I went in and there was no cover or anything on the table. It was just a little sheet on the table, and there was a washcloth. That was it.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, I'm like, what do I cover myself with? So I didn't get undressed.
Oh, yeah, the washcloth.
And she comes back in and she goes, take off clothes. Well,
Good Lord.
Okay.
You've already done too many impressions.
Yeah.
I know,
You
sorry
got to
about that.
stop.
She was a German lady?
Yeah. Yeah. Come on. You know something? I'm too old to care.
Yeah, I'm not.
Oh, yeah, right.
My retirement is not set.
By the way, this is Courtney's last show, and I'm here to ruin it for her.
All right, well, listen, we're going to talk more about Jen, play more of Jen's music from her own favorite playlist. These are all the things that she loved, and she loved music, and music is good for your soul. And so you're going to hear a lot of stuff, and let it just bring a smile to your face, because these are all the things that Jen really, really loved. But the only...
We're not on it, are we?
The only artist you're going to hear that is not Jen-specific, centric, is Def Leppard, because that is our artist of the day for Tap the App. So you're going to hear Def Leppard in the middle of all the Jen music.
We got to keep doing business.
And when you hear Def Leppard, you tap the app and you could win $1,000. We're giving away $1,000 a week.
The Courtney Show.
Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news for anybody that's just tuned in, didn't see it on social media yesterday. I think I forget and think everybody knows the news that just punched us all yesterday that we got, that our friend and our former colleague and coworker and family member, Jen Myers, that's what you knew her as, passed away yesterday. And after 8 years of fighting cancer.
And it was suddenly for us because we all thought she was going to beat it.
Yeah.
Even when we had our luncheon, we posted some pictures, but even when we had that lunch about a month and a half ago, I guess it was.
We all got together.
We got together, and she wasn't, her voice was weak, and, she didn't look like she would, but she was out in public. I mean, she went out. But we all thought, okay, this is just a phase, and, she's going to come out of this.
And I think, when she left radio, because her job then became to fight. Her job was fighting for her life.
It was fighting for her life and to see her children grow.
Yes. I mean,
that's all she wanted.
That's all she wanted. All she wanted ever was to be a mom. And Ryan, just an incredible, so much strength. And she had the right life partner for everything.
She did.
And her friends. I talked about her friends earlier. Because her friends here in St. Louis were her family.
Yeah.
And so Monday, I told you yesterday on the phone, she texted me Monday.
I know. It still astonishes me.
And of course, she texted me about my birthday.
She never texted me about mine.
Well,
I'm sorry. Were you on the air?
Where you ranked?
She always liked me better. But I thought it was really sweet, and I think I just wrote back, yay, with a heart. But a birthday is a big deal. I had another one. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I think
I do.
it just puts things into perspective, and we want to celebrate Jen today, not just the Jen that you knew that was struggling with this terrible disease for so many years. Like, I don't even know how she was able to pick herself up out of the bed, going through all this treatment nonstop. So we want to play a lot of music that is all Jen's favorites. Some of it we have to get, it's not all arch music, sadly, but she does have a lot of arch music here. But we want you to hear the music that brought Jen the most happiness. And so we're going to play another one of Jen's very favorites. This is, and my favorite, we shared the love of They Might Be Giants. It's Birdhouse in Your Soul. It's The Courtney Show on The Arch.
The Courtney Show.
Guy Phillips hanging out with us this morning, and we're talking all things our friend Jen Myers. Her real name is Jen Farmer, so if you're looking for the announcement, the obituary, if you were not on Facebook, because it was everywhere. You realized how many lives were touched. And I know that everybody listened along for all those years and wanted an update all the time about her battle with cancer. And it was, even though it was 8 years, this felt fast.
It always does, doesn't it? It's so fun. But as I was thinking of it driving over here today, aside from thinking, why am I doing this? I was thinking, when you die, do you want people to be sad about your life? About your death, obviously, but no, you don't. You would say, don't. It was fun. I had a great time. Don't cry over me. Jen would be the same way. So the celebration where we laugh, I think that's more legacy stuff than if we were to be maudlin and be talking about the sadness of how she passed and
I think the thing I keep seeing over and over again about Jen. I mean, we worked together for 14 years. It's a long time in close quarters. We fought, we cried, we laughed a lot, usually at your expense. But
sometimes at hers.
Yes,
when she wet her pants.
Yes, that was. We're gonna talk about that in 1 second.
Okay,
because that's a story I wanted to bring up to you, which I'm sure she is thrilled. Ryan sent me a text.
Ryan, her husband.
Yeah. This was last year, a little over a year ago, when you came in and Jen came in. And it was the first time people had heard Jen on the air in quite a while.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, I meant to send this yesterday, but I wanted to thank you for having Jen on with you and Guy yesterday. She said it was the most and hardest she's laughed in a long time. Thank you. You're good people. I appreciate you. Because it really, just being back around you mostly, and your silliness. You've already almost gotten me fired twice today. It's nice, but a lot of people talk about Jen's laugh. That is the thing that's in there. They can just hear her laugh, you know?
Yeah, she had a good one.
And somebody texted in and said, Courtney, when you and Guy are in the studio together, I swear I can hear Jen with you. In the studio this morning so far, the lights have gone on and off, 4 times now?
Yeah, they flickered.
Yes.
And
it's freakish.
It was, and it happened off the air one time when I was talking about Jen, and I had to apologize.
Yes.
And I thought, well,
happy.
I better leave now. And Courtney said, don't get in your car. So if I'm hiking out there and it's raining, pick me up. It'll be your issue.
And all the music we're playing today, except for Def Leppard. I don't think there's a lot of the artists we play, I can say they're her favorites, but it's your artist of the day for Tap the App. And it's a chance for you
Is there like 300 songs she's got listed here? I skimmed through. I didn't see Def Leppard.
No, not part of her.
No.
Not part of her life. But somebody texted and said, "I didn't know Jen liked good music. I thought she just liked Y98 music."
Well, not all of it was. Come on, I mean,
there was some good stuff,
Yeah.
but there's some artists I still can't hear because of my time over there.
In the
Like some,
trenches.
Give me an example.
oh my God, that one phase of all those terribly slow, terrible songs. I don't know.
Oh, yes. And we can never remember the guy's name. And you let her in.
Yes.
That one.
Wait, which one? What is it?
He had a high voice. It's like, God, what is his name?
I'm gonna look it up.
What? I don't even.
Yeah, you will. I don't even.
Well, I want to guess at it, but I don't. I don't. What are the lyrics?
He doesn't know.
Oh,
I got it.
Okay.
all right.
This one.
Let Her Go
Let Her Go.
by.
Passenger.
Oh, it's.
Oh, I
don't know what
would
the guy's
never know
name
You
that.
might have been gone.
You missed. Listen to this, though. This was all over the radio.
You only need the light when it's burning low.
What's wrong with this?
Only miss the sun when it starts to
Helium
snow.
Studio.
Only know the love
But there was like a time where it was a lot of this kind of music.
Yes, you
Yeah.
were the only one.
You liked the stuff that had the horns in it.
I did.
You're all.
Every song should have horns in it.
And that's a great piece. Guy had Kevin get horns added to all of these songs we were playing, and it really did
It was funny.
help.
I mean, we took whatever the current songs were at the time. We had a studio in New York that would bring in these
Yes,
professionals.
yes.
And we'd say, okay, take Katy Perry's song and, and add horns to it. Like background, because in the 60s
70s.
and 70s, there were a lot of horns
Yes.
in songs.
Yeah.
And
80s had a horn moment.
a few horn moments, but it wasn't like it was.
Chicago songs.
Yeah. So we added those, and I'm telling you, it was some of the funniest.
Jen and I would roll our eyes when Kevin and Guy would conspire on things like, oh, here they go again. And
Yeah.
it was all the time that you prepped on the show. It was all about this dumb idea. And it was good. It was good. I doubted you, and
It worked out.
really was pretty fantastic.
And I don't remember what song it was, but all of a sudden they broke into kind of mariachi horns.
Oh my gosh.
And it cracked me up because I hadn't heard him before we played him on the air.
No, it was one of your only good ideas.
It really was.
That you
I've had
spent a lot
of
of time on. That's what I mean. The story Guy is talking about. So Jen, when she started the show, gosh, how old was she?
20-something, yeah. Mm-hmm.
She had just gotten married not too long before to Ryan. And
let me just preface
I'm
this.
6 years older than Jen. So
Yeah. So just to let our listeners at home know that Jen was green. I mean, she did the night show, but you're working alone and you're playing songs, and that was her thing. But when you came together with us, and it was a morning show, it was conceptual, and it was this integrated thing. She wasn't used to working with other people, and we were so self-deprecating.
We were brutal.
If anything, you remember my Tower Grove Park
Yes,
incident,
yes.
so that should, I grabbed my pants. I have to be honest.
We really revealed
Maybe too
all
much.
the bad stuff about.
Right, yeah.
Like, because that got the best laughs.
It did,
Yeah, it
and
does.
people remember that stuff, and it's universal. It's universal. So when this happened, apparently Courtney had taken Jen to some exercise classes.
That's right, people. I used to exercise a lot. I had a personal trainer.
You're still paying for the memberships.
I think I took her to my personal trainer.
Right.
And we did a workout. And you never knew what you're going to get. It was a boot camp kind of thing.
Sure.
And I think it was during the jump roping. And she told me after she peed herself a little bit.
Yeah.
Jump roping. And we were laughing
And who
about
hasn't jump roping?
Yeah.
it. No.
That's why I jump rope sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
It was not a
Things
big
moving along.
It was not a big deal at all, but it was funny to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I told Kevin, then Kevin had some songs made. I don't remember any of the songs. And she was so mad at me.
I think it was Shy.
Yeah, you're pee,
pee,
shy.
shy.
She was so mad at me, but she always would talk to me years later like, I didn't understand what I was in for.
Yeah.
Like it was so nothing years
She was
later, but it
mortified.
was jarring.
But it was.
and then I felt bad.
Well,
I
yeah, of
felt
course.
bad because I was like, I didn't think she would. I didn't know her well enough to throw that out there.
Because
It'll break her in.
being a morning show member, if that had happened to me, I would come in the next day and go, "You guys can't believe this! I peed myself."
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
Yes.
right? Yeah, and then we'd talk about it on the air, and that was, it'd be
You're
kind
excited
of
when it happens.
right.
You're
Exactly.
like, I got something for the show
But
today.
Hey,
man-
crap myself in Tower Grove Park. It's a part of a show.
It was
I'm gonna
very,
get years out of this.
it was
Yeah.
very jarring for her.
Oh yeah,
It was her trial by fire.
it really was.
Trial by song parody. But I think it really broke her in to the show.
It broke her, and then it broke her in.
Today we are celebrating our friend. We want to laugh. We want to hear your memories because it's going to spark our memories because we are a little cloudy, honestly. Our brains
Well,
are...
we do so much. We don't know what resonates. We don't know what you found funny or interesting or sad.
Moments
of the show. So, and it's interesting to me what pieces of the show that people actually remember, because I won't recall any of them until you tell me what it was.
Yeah,
and it was
because
like,
there's
oh my gosh,
too many moments.
too many.
But Jen's great love, besides her children and Ryan, was music. I mean, this is why both of us got into radio. She loved music.
And I would always cross that line because I would add a song or something that I wanted to hear, and she'd go crazy. Like,
Oh, yeah, she...
you can't play that. You played two female artists back to back, and I would mock her. Who cares if it's a hit? It's a hit. I can play all female artists.
But we're going to play
Here's Barbara Streisand.
We are going to play from Jen's favorite playlist. These are all the songs that meant something to her, that she loved, and we want to honor her today with all of her favorite songs besides Def Leppard. And we also want to mention that there is a GoFundMe page, and if you want to donate to to Jen's family, they're going to need the help, and we would really appreciate it. It is on the blog today at 1065thearch.com.
Hurt in a car accident? Injured on the job? At Cantor Injury Law, we know how overwhelming it can feel. With over 100 years of combined local legal experience and over $500 million won, we fight to get you the justice you deserve.
You can count on Cantor Injury Law to stand by your side. You pay nothing out of pocket. We only win when you win.
When you're injured, count on Cantor. Cantor Injury Law, 314-628-9999, or visit CantorInjuryLaw.com.
You can count on Cantor.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
The Courtney Show.
It's the Courtney Show, and today Guy Phillips has joined us, and he's going to be leaving shortly because he's got golf tee time. The text I got from Guy yesterday was a standing golf tee time on Friday.
Yeah.
But we are celebrating.
Jen would appreciate it.
We are celebrating. Yes, she really would. She knew that you were all about Guy. We were all just punched in the gut yesterday. We've known for a few days that Jen's health was declining and quickly. And that was shocking enough to us because it seemed out of the blue, even though Jen had fought cancer for 8 years, 8 long years. And I know that when that obituary went out and it was shared, I know that everyone felt the same way we did. Just like this can't be real, because she fought so long, so hard, and she did so much for Pedal the Cause. She loved that organization so much because of Pedal the Cause. So many of these trials saw the light of day because the funding wasn't there, and they may have never made it out of just the research phase. But because of Pedal the Cause, all the money stays right here. So she was the beneficiary of some of these treatments that may have never been given to patients because it didn't have the funding. And they have raised so much money, and I know what a champion she was of this organization. And so on her obituary, it did mention all of the charities that are near and dear to her heart. But also there's a GoFundMe page for the family. And that, to me, is the most important. Ryan and Finn and Nora, are going to have some tough times ahead, and they could use all the help that you can give. And if you want to make a donation, you can do it. And Brando has now put up the blog for the day at 1065thearch.com.
Yep.
You can see the link for the GoFundMe page to help Jen's family just get through this enormous loss.
You know, when you think back, Jen was never one to wallow in self-pity. I'm sure there were moments in her life, why me? We'd all ask the same question. You got young kids. You got a young husband with a lot of hair product, by the way. But
Is he a product guy?
he really is.
He was.
Used to be.
I don't know if he's still heavy on the product.
Probably not, but it was fun to say that all the time about Ryan. But nonetheless, I'm sure we all deserve a moment of woe is me. But the fact is that with the pedal,
Pedal the cause.
Yeah, Jen just jumped right back in and gave her all for that organization and others, by the way. So she never let this beat her.
Yeah, she was always involved.
Yeah.
As much as she could, depending on her health.
And Courtney wanted me to read her obituary because it's a good one. And I said yesterday when I don't know if I was texting you, there's so many texts, so many people contacting me. And I feel a little, I don't know, ashamed that I haven't put more up on my Facebook page.
I didn't put anything up because I knew we were going to celebrate Jen today, and
Well, then I feel the same way.
No,
I'm kidding. Of course.
I don't know. I just didn't want to believe it.
Yeah.
And
I get it.
sharing it is too final.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but everybody else was sharing it, and I was fine with that. And I knew I'd have the words that I wanted to say to her here today.
Sure. Courtney said that Jen had texted her a happy birthday on Monday of this week, and she's gone Thursday morning. It just doesn't seem possible. And I went back and I looked at my text. I thought, well, when's the last time that Jen and I had some kind of, and it was mid-September, and she had sent me an article about the penny.
Because Guy hates the penny.
I hate the penny, and it costs us 2.4 cents for every penny we manufacture. Why do we use it? It's only good for taking screws out, and the screws have to be, have a slot big enough for a penny. A dime is usually a better tool, but the penny's so dumb. And so she sent me this big article about it, and then apparently her daughter, Nora, did a report on it or something in school, and they sent that to me. It was like my new hero. But let me read. If you haven't had a chance to read the obituary or couldn't find it, it's Bowie Funeral Home. Bowie, I think it's Bowie.com.
I think a lot of people are probably looking up Jen Myers.
Yeah.
And that, by the way, is Myers.
Yeah, that's right.
She really...
Don't mess it up.
She really get ticked if you misspelled her fake name, but it's Farmer, Jen Farmer.
So let me just read this to you because I enjoyed this. I like an obituary that's got a little humor in it.
It was a good one.
And this does. It says, Jennifer Marie Farmer, nee Belliati, beloved wife, mother, daughter, sister, aunt, and friend, passed away October 24th in St. Louis. She was 49 years old. Jen was a gift to all who knew her, and although she deserved twice as much time on the planet as she was given, she made the most of every single day, in particular during her 8-year breast cancer journey. Born on January 21st, 1975 at Sisters of Charity Hospital to parents Paul and Peggy, Jen was a proud child of the 80s, complete with a banana seat bike, unfortunate haircut, and an envious collection of mixtapes. Growing up in her hometown of Amherst, New York, she was a skilled violin player. She was a skilled...
Well, it wasn't tuned correctly. We made her bring it in and play it.
We had her play, and she was patently awful. But it was okay, because that's what we wanted. If she was good, we would have been, what are you doing here working on the morning show? It says, and with her only recorded bucket counting for the other team.
Oh, yeah, she was an unskilled basketball player.
And she got the ball one time. I was so excited she scored a basket in the other basket.
Famously. She was tall, crazy tall, And so they were like, probably this is our hope for the season right here.
Yeah.
He's got to point her at the right basket.
Not so much.
They actually traded her right there to the other team. Jen attended elementary school at Windermere Boulevard and then Amherst Central High School before going on to study English at Binghamton University. After graduating, she pursued a graduate degree at the University of Buffalo, getting within 1 credit before ditching it all to join Ryan, her Midwestern match made in heaven, whom she married in 2003. Jen combined her love of words and passion for music into a 26-year career in radio at stations in Buffalo, Des Moines, and finally her adopted hometown of St. Louis. Jen was best known as the beloved morning radio host and music director of Y98, a role she held for 15 years. Her voice was what St. Louis woke up to, and her candor and personal stories about infertility, parenting, and her cancer journey endeared her to an entire city. Everyone felt like her friend. Jen loudly and proudly used her voice and her platform, and on many occasions, an energy reserve she couldn't have been capable of, to help raise hundreds of thousands of dollars for causes she cared about, including Pedal the Cause, St. Louis Children's Hospital, Ollie Hinkle Heart Foundation, and Pink Ribbon Good, just to name a few. When it came to helping others, Jen never said no. But her proudest accomplishment by far was her 2 children. From the moment they were born, Finn and Nora were Jen's everything. And their good nature, sense of humor, and sensitive souls are the embodiment of their mother. It was fierce love and sheer will to squeeze out every moment of life she possibly could with them, and allowed her to endure 8 years of living with her relentless cancer diagnosis. No one had a joyful laugh quite like Jen, and it delighted anyone who heard it. The void she leaves in the lives of those who knew her is enormous, but so is the impact she's left. She is survived by her husband, Ryan, children Finn and Nora, parents Paul and Peggy Bellotti, brother Greg Bellotti, brother-in-law Justin Farmer, father-in-law Greg Farmer, and nieces and nephews Ava, Hadley, Harper, and Landon. In honor of Jen's memory, her family will be hosting a visitation at the Gathering Church, which is on McCausland Avenue in the 2300 block. October 28th, that's this coming Monday at 4 to 7. The memorial service is going to be private. So in place of flowers, donations can be made in Jen's memory to Pedal the Cause, St. Louis Children's Hospital, and Pink Ribbon Girls. And for those who do feel so inclined, as Courtney was talking about, GoFundMe has set up a family in the family's name to help the ongoing expenses for the kids and for Ryan. And, if I would opt to probably make a donation rather than send flowers, although flowers are lovely. But if you have it in your heart, or you knew Jen, or you laughed, or you heard us talking about this morning on the Courtney Show, and you laughed, see if you can help out.
Yeah. And all the music we're playing today is from Jen's own favorite playlist, and we're going to continue with all Jen music except for Def Leppard. And this is she loved. I think we did a few things with this next artist, and we loved her. And I know Jen really loved her. And it's Sarah Bareilles, Brave. It's the Courtney Show on the Arch.
The Courtney Show.
It is the Courtney Show, and we are remembering our friend and colleague and coworker and family member Jen Myers Farmer today, and Lance Hildebrand has tapped in.
Hey.
Guy Phillips gone to his
standing golf
tea time. And Lance is joining us. And this morning, Ryan, her husband, sent me last night her playlist, her favorite music, and Jen was passionate about music.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
Why she got into radio.
Yeah, that's why I think a lot of us did.
And that guy.
No, not a guy.
Guy didn't care. He's like, people need to hear my voice. He does have that great voice. And I would imagine a lot of people probably told you that too, Lance.
But my voice has changed since I got into radio.
Man, it's good.
Because when I was little, I talked like this.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be kind of weird if it didn't. If like you sounded like this as a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
I actually know a guy who's I know a guy who's 16 who sounds like he's 70. I mean, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Wow. But I digress.
But Jen, as being a child of the 80s, music was all around us, and it was all kinds of music and MTV, and she loved music. And so we want to honor Jen today by playing all the songs that meant something to her. So we're gonna continue with that, and we're gonna continue with the stories about Jen, and we'll talk more with Lance Hildebrand in a few minutes. But we do want to give some tickets away. We did not play Throwback Live today, which means we have an opportunity right now for caller 10. If you want to go to Ludo on Sunday night, it's Halloween.
Nice.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday at the pageant with our own Tim Convey. You can be caller 10 right now and win those tickets. All you have to do is call us at 314-954-1065 or 618-398-1065.
The Courtney Show.
Congratulations to Elizabeth Gawalek. I think I might have just butchered her name. I'm sorry. From St. Louis. She was the 10th caller, which means Elizabeth is going to go see Ludo Sunday at the pageant. 3 shows starting tonight at the pageant. Halloween in full swing starting tonight. If you want tickets, you can go to 1065thearch.com and get the link there. But look who we have. We have not only Lance Hildebrand, but also the star of Ludo, Tim Convey, has just come in, even though he's off today because yesterday we all worked with Jen and we wanted to honor Jen today. I mean, even though it was a different station, we don't have all the Jen audio because that's not our, we don't have it available. But we all have our own stories. So, and the text
I think
today have been great.
Waking up and turning on the radio and hearing all this stuff, and it's been emotional but just good to hear stuff. And I've cried a couple times, and then I switched over to the Courtney Show, and you guys are doing a good job too. It's
I like that the background of the Jen music has been really nice.
It's and you guys have,
except for Def Leppard.
Yeah, God, she loved Def Leppard. She didn't care for Def Leppard, but Jen loved the good radio promotion. And I don't think she would want anything to get in the way of hitting the clocks, getting that app tapped. It was she was into that.
As
stuff.
long as we observe the appropriate artast separation, I think she's okay.
Exactly. It is very important to her. But you guys have done a great job and gotten me a few times. And anytime you and Guy together and just picturing all that stuff, and it's a lot. But I'm glad to be here and glad to have Lance here.
Yeah, Lance.
Tim.
And Lance, you worked with Jen longer than even I did.
Yeah, I mean,
they kept you around a little longer until you got pizza partied.
True. But yeah, so I guess now what year did you start over there?
1999.
Okay, now Jen came to town, I want to say somewhere around 2000, 2001, something like that.
Yeah, she did nights.
Yeah, did nights for a few years. And we used to pal around a lot at night. Either on the phone or I would come into the studio because what else do I have to do? But yeah, I mean, and we went to baseball games together. I mean,
yeah, you and Ryan would hang out a lot too.
Yeah. Jen was real nice. There was a stretch there. We haven't done it in ages, but we used to call it boys' night out. It used to be Ryan and me and Paul Cook,
Greg wasn't involved.
Greg Hewitt sometimes. And do you remember? I don't think you ever worked with him because I think he was gone by then. Fred Del Pizzo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was the boys. Did you remember Fred?
From Camel X, Fred?
No, you're thinking of Fred Bottomer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Different Fred. So, yeah, we would go, and usually that involved going to some casino in town. Dinner and a casino. So, yeah, there were a lot of stories there. Yeah.
But yeah, so we're getting lots of texts this morning.
Yeah, I bet. I'm afraid to even look at the text line. But I also appreciate you guys having me in today to talk about what I know Jen considered the golden age of her career, which was the Wake Up with Jen and Tim.
What time is that on now?
It was, short-lived.
I
know she always looked back on that the most.
I do love this one because this is so Jen. This is from Karen. I loved listening to Jen at Courtney's roast at the Funny Bone.
Oh, man.
Yeah, my wife and I talked about that last night.
I think she won the roast.
Oh, hands down. No question.
She got up there and it was like a release for her.
Yep.
Don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All this stuff that had been bottled up about Guy through the years, Kevin, her opening line was about Kevin, I think.
I almost pulled up. I have the whole video on my, and I'm not ready to watch it yet.
Yeah.
But all those same memories came back. Yeah, I mean, she was cursing like crazy.
Oh my God. You could see, honestly, it was one of those, I've wanted to say all these things and I'm just doing it. I got the least.
Yeah, you probably did.
I got the least.
She was hitting all of us, and the audience was just on board immediately. Yeah, we'll pull it up. It was so funny. I mean, we'll have to beep the heck out of it.
Oh my gosh, it was
Gonna need some work.
I mean, it would have given it gave Nikki a run for her money.
Yeah, agreed.
I don't think even Nikki throws out as many of the words that she did.
Yeah, it was quite colorful. But yeah, she was. You're right. That's the thing I think people were talking about the most in a night that had a lot of memorable moments.
Yeah, because it was all great. I don't want to say somebody was the winner, but man, it was a sight of her.
Yeah, exactly.
She kept it all buttoned up a lot.
Yeah. No,
yeah, she hit another gear.
I'll say it. She won that night hands down. Sorry, Tim. Sorry, Tim.
No,
Sorry, Tim.
Tim was great too. Now the anchor
won.
to the whole thing was Guy. No, I'm just
That was such a fun night.
Karen also said that she was it Karen that said this? No, this is from Kelly from KC. She said whenever I'd call into the other show for contests, I would always play against Jen because she was so competitive. I loved that. She will truly be missed. I'm sorry for your loss. The most competitive.
Yeah,
super
intensely
competitive.
I mean, we saw it, and we've talked about this before, that team building thing. Where it's supposed to be
She
this.
turned it into a team separation.
Oh, she was hot.
We went out to one of those the places in St. Charles where you do it's the laser tag and bumper cars and all
You've
that.
done
laser
it.
tag, yeah.
And laser tag in particular, she was real worked up.
Oh, she was good. So there were salespeople that were taking her down, and she's like, I just spent this amount of money on Invisalign
for your client, and now she's
she was mad. And then the next day, like, I think she was out of body that day. The next day, she was so embarrassed about her behavior. It's one of those moments where you're like, I'm not that competitive until you are, and you cause a scene, and you just are. It was
that streak of competitiveness, though, can overrule everything else. I mean, when you deal with that, sometimes with people who are uber competitive like that, everything else just like blanks out.
Yeah,
and it's just like
you don't even know who you are. You're like, oh,
right.
And then you look back and you're like, why did I go that? Because I did it one time with Uno. And Nick then
the pizzeria.
No, Nick then stated I can never play Uno in public again. I'm sure I had some drinks as well. It might have clouded my. No, I'm pretty competitive too, but real competitive.
I just thought of a promotion. Isn't Ouzo a liquor? That's Greek liquor, right?
Ouzo, yeah.
Ouzo and Uno.
Oh, I like that.
Let's put it together.
That could be a real ugly.
I know.
Call it Oozno.
Yes. So we are honoring Jen today. Our friend Jen Myers, who passed away at the age of 49 after a really long fight with breast cancer. And we were all shocked when we heard the news yesterday, and we just want to honor her the best way we can by telling stories about her, fun stories, and remembering her and her love of music. So we got a copy of her playlist, which is long and lengthy. It's her favorites, and a lot of people have asked for us to post this, and I've gotten Ryan's blessing, her husband, and so we are going to post it after the show today. But here's another one. There are many layers to Jen and her musical taste. This is one of her favorites. She was probably at the mall. She probably went to see Tiffany. It's I Think We're Alone Now. It's the Courtney Show on the Arch.
You can count on Cantor. Hi, I'm Mark Cantor of Cantor Injury Law. Cantor Injury Law is local, and that's much different than the other lawyers you see advertising. You can count on Cantor to know you and your injury. Count on Cantor to know the law and how to maximize the money you win in your case. You can count on Cantor because we've been winning cases like yours for 30 years. Visit CantorInjuryLaw.com or call us at 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
The Courtney Show.
It is the Courtney Show, and Brando is here hanging out with us. And Brando, you had an opportunity to meet Jen. She came in the studio a few times.
Yeah, I actually met her in San Francisco.
You did?
Bizarre. Yeah. So she and I did a radio junket together for a TV show that was on TBS.
That's right.
And so that was the first time
What was the show?
It was called Ground Floor. And it was on TBS for, I don't know, probably just a season or two, maybe. But
TBS used to send on-air people to a lot of stuff.
Oh, they were great.
And I'll bet Jen had 3 notebooks worth of notes
She totally
on that
did.
thing going into that junket.
Yeah. Plus,
Yeah, she did.
everyone had, so as part of the junket, you got like some sort of experience you got to do. And so Alex and I went to Alcatraz, that you could go to Alcatraz. And so everybody, and your time wasn't super tight, but you're only there for like a day or whatever. And then, you go back. And, so the amount of extra time you had was limited, but not only did Jen do whatever the experience was, which I'm not sure what she picked, but she also, you may remember, she got up that morning early and went and ran the Golden Gate Bridge.
Of course she did.
And I was like, what are you doing?
Listen, that is just so her. Really ticked me off.
Yeah.
We did this weight loss challenge one time, and there was no way. First of all, I had the worst metabolism out of the entire group. But Guy took all of these, X-Laxes the night before the final weigh-in. X-Lax-I. And Jen went and did double hot yoga the day before. I was never going to win that thing.
Was that the Uno night the night before?
It wasn't, but man, I was like boxing and doing all these things, and it would take me like double boxing sessions every day to even make a dent, and it was just bad. I was so aggravated. But Tim's here, Lance is here. Lots of people on the text line bringing up Kevin. Like Kevin should be here with us. He really should.
Yeah.
I know that they're doing a tribute as well, but we miss him so much here because, man, I don't know if anyone made Jen laugh as hard as Kevin.
True.
I mean, we would laugh at Guy and the different things that he would do, but Kevin brought us more joy on a daily basis because he's an odd guy. He would have his program, he was very meticulous in his time and his
routine.
Yes.
Good
Habit.
word.
Yes.
Good word. Good
all
word.
that. The treats in his drawer.
And then he would try to plan. Kevin always would if we said, hey, you're going to do this, he would work too hard on it and it wouldn't be Kevin. But if you just caught Kevin off guard, real Kevin was gold. Not planned Kevin, just whatever came out of his mouth. Because whenever he had to do a professional radio break, it was jumble. And I heard from Sarah, his wife, and she said, knowing Kevin would have loved to be with you all. I'm going to have him listen to the podcast. I think it will help him.
Yeah, it would be great to spend time with him too right now.
Yeah.
This weekend. I'm sure we'll see each other, but
yeah.
Yeah, it's all the texts, all the just hearing from people is great. Yeah, it's crazy. It still doesn't feel.
No.
I mean, you said it earlier about even though it's been a part of her life, your guys' lives for even longer. That the cancer battle, it's still, and even knowing recently that things were not going great. It's crazy. I mean, it is every time with people, but it's wild. I mean, it's so funny just even being in here. You picture her, she listened quite a bit, or we'd tell an old story and we'd get text from her too. So it's you just felt her listening sometimes too, and that it's a lot. I'm rambling, guys. I apologize.
No, I did this morning when we came on. My brain, it's going in circles.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out the right words to say to honor her the right way.
Yes.
I did not sleep last night, but I knew that I wanted to do the music thing.
Yeah.
And I think the highlight of today, forget about everything I've said, Jen's own words with her music.
Yeah.
Like the music she loved, that she, would listen to, all of her favorite songs. And we're going to play a lot more of those, except for Def Leppard.
I love the disclaimer.
That is the artist of the day today for Tap the App. So it's going to happen every hour.
Yeah, I was looking back at just text with her, and it was so much music stuff. Concerts, she was so good about going to concert, for obvious reasons. She didn't want to miss those opportunities, and she'd be like, "Oh, I saw this. Are you going to this?" And I loved all that. And you guys have talked about it too, but just the I just think of people coming to the events. They're all people that connected with different people on the shows for different reason, and I'll never forget the long line to talk to Courtney at the baseball thing, but Jen connected with people in just a completely different way. So often through the infertility thing, obviously the cancer stuff, but it was just this, they would just make eye contact and lock in a hug, whether Jen had spent a lot of time talking to that person or not, she just meant so much to those people in particular, where she was the one they couldn't wait to see for that.
Yes.
Thing. They'd her, with all those things, parenting too, all that stuff where she was their person. That's who they connected with, and that if they came out to a thing, it was to give Jen Myers a hug and thank her.
Yes,
such a special thing to see as often as we got.
And
to see
I don't know if anybody knows how. It's really easy to share all the good stuff. Like that's an easy thing. Like to share the good news that we have. But the amount of bad news she had to share on the radio, and that she had to think about the night before because she was going to share that thing on the radio.
That's an excellent point.
And she didn't want to share it, but she knew she had to share it because she knew it was an important part of who she was and what was ahead for her. And just the gut punches of bad news. And then the happy news is always great to share. But having the strength to share those things is so difficult.
And already crying more than anyone I've ever met on the radio. But then also about silly things. And then to also be that vulnerable with the important things. Yeah, you're completely right. Over all those years to have to be, I haven't had that.
No.
I've not had to go in and be like, here's
from infertility, it started with that and her struggle to have a child.
Yeah.
And that was such a long journey for her. And then she was blessed with Finn and then Nora, and then the breast cancer. Yeah. It's been too much for one human to endure.
And if you think about it, that's basically almost her entire 40s. That, her age-wise, in her 40s, was spent battling cancer.
Yeah. And so we definitely love all the texts coming in, your own memories, the things that cracked you up, the moments you remember hearing with Jen. And we know that she has meant so much to you for so many years, just like she's meant to us. We're family. When you tell these stories, you're family. You're sharing the most intimate details of your life. And we have that GoFundMe page. It's on our blog. You can go to 1065thearch.com and you can donate to the family. We'd really, really appreciate it if you did help out Ryan, Finn, and Nora. And Jill Devine's been texting me a lot this morning, too. And I told her, keep texting. She said, I'm sorry I keep texting you. I just don't know what to do. She said, she texted me this. Jen told her that she thought she was going to get fired after the team building event.
She was ashamed for weeks.
And I think we just kept going in on it, too, because we are brats. Today's all about Jen. More music from Jen's playlist.
The Courtney Show.
How is this the song that's breaking me?
Good question.
I
know.
It's just unreal.
Yeah. I know. So many songs for so long are going to always, make us think of Jen, and that definitely is high on the list.
One of my very favorite things, Jen cried a lot on the air, and not about, I'm not talking about breast cancer, infertility, all the bad stuff that she went through during her time on the morning show. But I'm talking about funny things that really brought her to tears. And I think that Tim and I both agree this made me laugh harder than most was when I surprised her.
Did you Ryan just texted
No.
and said, Xanadu, I never thought this song would make me cry.
I know.
But here
it's
we
made
are.
me cry more than anything this morning.
He said, by the way, I had totally forgotten about the roast. I showed up late that night and remember running into Greg Warren, who was blown away and still trying to figure out where that side of Jen had been hiding.
It was awesome. But the story about the Xanadu, but Olivia Newton-John in particular.
Was she a mystery guest? Or
mystery guest?
Mystery guest like we do over here where we got to guess who it is we're talking to.
I booked it because I knew Jen's love of the movie Xanadu, Olivia Newton-John, and all that goes with it.
Next thing we know, we're talking to Olivia Newton-John. And Jen, I think, just instantaneously just started crying. I don't think it led up to anything. But Olivia Newton-John, who was fighting a public battle with breast cancer as well, and she just had meant so much to her. And you couldn't. Poor Olivia Newton-John couldn't possibly have understood any of the words Jen was saying. She was absolutely bugging. And the song Magic, and she's quoting the lyrics, and Olivia's just like, yes. She was so polite, and it was also interesting to see, like I said, you see so many people go up to Jen and talk about their battle and become kind of a groveling mess, and Jen gives the hug, and it's okay. And so that was Jen to Olivia Newton-John. Even though we were on the phone, Olivia Newton-John was saying, I understand, and it's okay. And Jen's just...
Do you want me to call back later?
Yeah, call back later.
Marty has just joined us, and Marty worked with Jen as well and put a great little clip up on the Courtney Show page on Facebook. And I know Jen meant a lot to you, too.
Yeah, for sure.
And she loved one of her favorite, most recent things about Marty. I know what story you're going to tell in a second, but because I just read it and it made me laugh. But your song that you did.
Oh, during the Radiothon.
Yes.
Yeah. We did We Go Together from Greece. And I guess she was having a rough time, and Ryan reached out to me afterwards.
Yeah.
She had been going through some pain and some suffering, and she saw the video of me singing the song during the radio. We go together like Rama, 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 da dinka da dink da donk. And I know all the words and did a little dance, and it was on YouTube. And he said it brought her, she like watched it over and over and over and laughed and laughed. So that made me feel great.
Did she try to get him to do it again?
I think she did. She did.
She paid.
Yeah, she did.
Like $200 to have me do it again.
But we didn't have time.
We didn't have time, but
I think we played it again, maybe.
And then I put it on YouTube so that she could see it when she started watching it. So.
But tell the story that you shared yesterday on Facebook.
We had Ed Sheeran come by. Before he was a well-known, we knew him as the guy who wrote a bunch of One Direction songs and had this new song called Lego House. And he was just this unknown guy, except all the 14 to 16-year-old girls in St. Louis knew who he was. And we had him come by Blueberry Hill and play in the basement for 50 listeners at the Duck Room. And the girls figured out he's going to be coming in through the back way. So they were hiding behind dumpsters, jumping out of dumpsters.
Oh, wow. I don't know about any of this.
It was freaking crazy. We had him do the show, and he played, and we had a photo opportunity with him. And it was me and Ed and Jen took a photo together. Ed was in the middle. I was on the side. Jen was on the other side. Years later, he became a household name. Everybody knew who Ed Sheeran was. He had all these hits, and she reposted that photo with me cropped out of the photo. And I immediately went on Facebook and commented, I remember when I was in this photo. And then she was so embarrassed and felt so bad. It's like, it wasn't a slight to me. She just wanted a picture of herself with Ed Sheeran. And so every time I saw her after we were done working together, I was like, remember that time I was in that one photo with Ed Sheeran? She got so embarrassed and so felt so bad about cropping me out. And I gave her trouble about it as recently as 3 weeks ago. Every time I talked to her, I gave her trouble. So
and Jen, she was tight with every program director we had because she would do the music. She was the music director. And man, once they knew how capable she was, it was all thrown onto her.
Yeah, I never had to do music.
She would want to do more, and she's like, well, I can do that, I can do that, I can do that. And it just became every program director that we ever had, she was definitely the favorite.
Well, and then after Marty left, she was practically running the entire station all the way until she left while dealing with cancer.
Yes.
I mean, it was a lot.
I got to tell you, when I got hired, too, I don't think she was a real fan because she knew that I was tight with Jill Devine, who was there, too.
Yeah.
And that Jill was my music director prior. So I think she was a little concerned, like, oh, he's going to favor Jill over me. And I love them both dearly. But it was like, no, you're the music director. You know what you're doing. You've been here forever.
Yeah.
And then we really got into a great groove together. And it's just amazing.
Yeah, and the guy before you really loved her too. So that's when somebody leaves.
Capucci
loved
Jill too. Yeah, so
and Jen.
Yes, but she was probably nervous about that because
it's
Capucci
real,
had worked.
It's real
with Jill
competitive
before.
in this cutthroat radio.
And she's
biz.
competitive, as you've been talking about this morning.
And
so.
plus, you guys have all said independently, Jill Devine famously lazy.
Jill is a mess right now. I talked to her like 3 times yesterday.
She's texting me a bunch today.
And
I love
she's
it.
so sweet. And it's just, she's listening right now.
I know she is. She's loving it. She really, really loves it. She said, I keep thinking about, Jill said, that when I announced my first pregnancy on the air with you all, and you all had names picked out, and I did not expect Jen to give me a funny name. She said, you should name your daughter Felicia, because then every time you leave her, it won't be hard to leave her when you say bye, Felicia. And this was early in the bye, Felicia days. This isn't Michael Scott hack joke.
Yeah.
This was at the, when it was really big. And Tim, you wanted to talk about
oh yeah, man, I'm going to be a mess, and if anybody posts this video, I'm going to be very angry about it. But yeah, Jen and I mean, one of the things I keep thinking about that I'm so grateful for is, post Courtney, Jen and I got put into a really not a great situation, and it was tough. It was really, really tough, and we figured it out and made it work. But in that time, we had some tough moments, and I wasn't always the nicest, and she did some things that I didn't love, and that road was tough up until when I left the station. And I think a lot of people, especially as adults, like, you would have just gone your separate ways and been like, we had kind of a thing, and we're not really friends anymore, and you whatever. But Jen, I think so much because of her situation and perspective, we talked. We got together one day and hashed it out and everything. I didn't like it when you did this. Well, you did this and you said this, and it ended in this really great play, completely buried the hatchet, like I've never done before at all in my entire adult life. Of all these things happen, but now we're airing it all out, putting it behind us, hugging, parting as friends, and then would regularly go get coffee just as friends and catch up, and then talk poorly about other people. But
we did that. We had this.
My ears were burning. Yes.
There was only a little Marty time.
Yeah.
It was other people who don't even live here
Well,
anymore.
this is what family does. I mean, when you work with somebody that closely, it is like family. And we had issues, and luckily we got those issues all figured out as well. And I mean, anytime she thought anything was funny, I know during the time that we weren't talking that she wanted, I know so many times she told me she wanted to reach out to me here. I saw this and I thought of you, because you're so intertwined in that person's life. And I'm so glad where we've been for the past couple of years, because man, I missed her.
And I had always rooted behind the scenes for you guys to mend all the fences, and the fact that you did before,
quite a while ago,
a long time,
and yes.
I'm just very, very, very grateful for not only that, we had that, and really in the grand scheme of things, it was only
a short time.
We had such a. My time when we were all together over there was just the greatest, and that was so positive. And there was a very short time of it got, like I said, we were put in a weird situation, and I didn't handle it great, and it was a very short time that we had that. But I'm so grateful just for honestly that lesson in my life, that you can move on past that stuff, and that is it's because of Jen. And then we connected, and then the kind of bond that we all have of sort of the alumni of we all were in that situation.
Yes.
We went through some of those insane situations, and so grateful, to
And now
to,
we
to
celebrate
have had
pizza
that.
parties.
Yeah, we do.
Taking them back.
My God.
We own pizza parties now.
And she loved, she loved that. She loved what happened over here. What she loved was, what this has become over here, and to be able to be a part of it. Just a little bit. I mean, she loved you guys so much. She just would light up. I remember seeing Guy at one of those Cardinals things, and Jen and I went over there, and then Guy's there, and she just didn't leave his side, just laughing so hard. And all the stuff, for the time where you guys weren't talking, that she would go, I want to tell Courtney about this so bad. And I was thinking of Courtney because of this so bad. And that she loved all of you guys and was so proud of that show, that era so much. It was such a big part of her life. And and I mean, we've talked about it a bunch, but I think about just her laugh. Somebody, if you're
Her laugh was the best.
And if you got that, if you're an egomaniac like Guy and myself, somebody like Jen it's a big one, and to take jokes. Sorry, go ahead.
And going back through the YouTube videos yesterday to try and put that little tribute together, it's amazing how much better that show was than the one that's on there now.
Wow. Jen liked that.
It was such a good show. It was so good. It had its moments. It had Guy and Courtney and Kevin and Jen, and everybody chimed in at just the right time to do just the right thing.
Yeah.
So good.
It's just when you get the opportunity to, work with the same show for that long, that's what ends up happening. But a lot of these shows now that start don't get the opportunity to grow into what they can become.
Yep, true.
And I think if you are given a little bit of space to figure it out and not be bothered by going to the boss's office every week to discuss things, you can free your mind. And sadly, I don't think that doesn't happen very much anymore.
But throw the competitive stuff out the window. I'm glad they're doing a tribute today. I'm glad
me
doing
too.
a tribute today, and everybody gets to hear more people get to hear about what Jen was all about.
And hopefully go donate to the GoFundMe.
Yeah.
And we'll be talking about it more, I think, in the time to come. But as often as we can say that, we should. We've posted the obituary in there. There's a link. It's a GoFundMe. It shouldn't be too hard to find. Farmer was Jen's real last name. So if you're looking for that, we'll put it up on
on our blog,
Instagram. It's on the blog, 1065thearch.com. We'll put it on Facebook. Anything that you've got, if there's a time Jen made you laugh, or if any of these stories are doing anything for you, you should feel so helpless in these situations. And if there's anything good that we can do or can come of it, is to make their lives even a little bit easier. And that's Ryan and the kids.
Yeah, and we're going to play a lot more of Jen's songs in the 9 o'clock hour. We're going to really hit you with a variety of the stuff that she loved that meant so much to her. And more stories coming about Jen, and we're remembering her today. And thank you guys for all the texts. It's so meaningful. I can't tell you how many people were bawling at Xanadu.
Really?
Birdhouse in Your Soul was quite a treat this morning.
Too.
They're just all Jen this morning, and we're going to continue.
The Courtney Show.
Well, have you ever got a picture of somebody by just hearing their favorite music? Today is that day.
Good point.
We're honoring Jen because she loved music. It was her great, great love. Well, her husband and her children too. But she had a passion for it, and she liked all types of music, which is why Jen went into radio. And if you didn't hear the news, and I'm so sorry to share it this way, our friend and family member, Jen Myers, passed away yesterday after an 8-year battle with breast cancer at the age of 49. And so we're telling stories, we're laughing a lot, and we just want to share as much of our memories of Jen as possible. And Ryan and the music. We're going to try to get a lot of music in this hour, and it's going to be all over the place.
Yeah.
All over the place. And I can tell you this, Def Leppard, not in Jen's playlist, but that is our artist of the day for Tap the App. Download the Arch app, tap it when Def Leppard plays anytime today, and you could win $1,000 every week. We're giving out $1,000. But Ryan just texted us and just said, I will probably say this, her husband, Ryan, I'm sorry, about 600 more times, but thank you. Not many people have the opportunity to have their spouse celebrated so publicly.
True.
but it means so much to me and the family that you would honor her in this way. The past few days have been pretty rough, and there will be plenty more rough days ahead. But hearing all these stories has brought so much joy. I am so glad that all fences were mended because she truly loved you all. And if you guys heard Gloria, that was one of Jen's favorite moments, I think, in St. Louis.
Oh, my God, yeah.
The Gloria, 24 Hours of Gloria, the Stanley Cup winning St. Louis Blues, the parade the next day. But here's a little known fact about the whole Gloria thing. So I had this idea for the Gloria thing, okay? And I was telling Jen about it. And I'm like, this guy, we had a new boss. I'm like, this guy's not going to go for it. Well, Jen, like we said, tight with all the program directors. She said something to the new boss, and he agreed to it. Now, I think it would have never happened if I would have said it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Totally.
She had this relationship that I did not have, which is why I was pizza partied a little later in the year.
I didn't care for you.
No. It really didn't get me, like me, understand me. But that's okay. Not everybody's supposed to like everyone. But he did agree to do this. And that, you know, if there's one thing, except he did try to take credit for it, too.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, he sure did. But Jen, if Jen hadn't have thought, like, man, this idea is so good, it can't just die here.
And the funny part is that was such a magical time in this town and on that radio station, because I don't know if you remember how much you would just drive around and people were blaring that song.
Yeah.
That summer.
Yes.
All the time. And especially that day when it was 24 Hours of Gloria.
And people would listen to it all day long. And it never got old because we have never experienced that kind of joy with our St. Louis Blues.
Right. And it was fun, too, because we got all these different pieces of audio from different people.
Celebrities.
Yeah, you know, like, now I'm drawing blanks.
Scott Bakula.
Scott Bakula. Totally into it. Totally into it. Yeah, Scott Bakula. That was a good one. That was a good one.
Oh, it was just and Ryan just texted again. He said the Gloria thing just triggered one of my favorite memories. The night of Game 7 against the Stars, when it went into the first overtime, I was a nervous wreck. And I couldn't sit down. She's like, I can't stay up any longer. I have to get up for the show. If they end up winning, please wake me up because I have to schedule 24 hours of Gloria. I think my screaming when Maroon scored did the trick. That playoff run was one of my favorite periods of time since we moved to St. Louis.
It was.
I remember they put her when they did the national on the broadcast.
Yeah.
They did the piece, and Jen was in the a little audio clip of Jen.
Oh yeah,
they interviewed her.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was very cool.
I'm trying to find some pictures to post, and I've done the thing on my phone where the facial recognition. So now it's just pulling up all the Jen pictures, and it's crazy to just see all the memories. But it's also speaks to all the weird stuff we did, because there's so many pictures where I'm like, do you have any idea why she's wearing this dress or what that is from? She's wearing a dress that looks like curtains or something, and she's like modeling it. And I have no recollection of what it's from.
But that's the beauty of what we do for a living. And you and Guy were talking about this earlier too. There are so many things that we do in the course of putting together these shows that, and I think Guy used the term, we don't know necessarily what resonates with people. The beautiful thing about text messages is we are able to find out what does resonate with you. And so some of these things, like Tim's going through his phone and finding these pictures, like, I don't even remember doing this. But it's the memories that the audience connects with that makes the most impact, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
And it's usually when we share the worst things about ourselves.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it really is. I mean, I can't tell you how many bad things I've told on the air about myself because I knew I'm not alone. I'm not alone.
And then things that we would get to make fun of each other.
Yes.
I mean, I think part of the reason maybe I still have a radio career is how much I got to beat up on Jen about her tramp stamp. Like it was.
Oh, yeah. So out of all the people in the world,
I mean, we picked on each other a lot. That was.
How about the foot sandwich?
Sandwich.
We talked about a lot about the roast and her performance at the roast and how people saw a different side of Jen and she was the highlight. But the foot sandwich, she had that same look in her eye. Like, you're not going to get me. Because Jen lost a bet. She had to eat a sandwich made by Tim's feet.
Oh.
And so he had to put he had bread down, tomato.
Prepared it
with his
yeah.
feet. And she just went in
Yeah.
and ate it.
Didn't break eye contact the whole time.
She was angry. Even though your feet were like surgeon feet.
Yes. Yeah, we had scrubbed them.
Yes.
The whole team.
You scrubbed it all the way up to the knee.
Yes.
Latex foot gloves on.
Yes. Yeah, I saw
Hard
her.
to find.
Yeah, they are.
Her pushing me in the pool at the top of the old
Oh,
building.
yeah, I
Pictures
remember
of. Remember on location at one of the diners, we did the egg breaking thing where you have to break
Oh,
eggs
yes,
and see
yes.
which ones. It was that down
That's
at
right.
She and I. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was down
wearing
at,
a tarp.
was it
It was the place where the guy.
Flat as a Pancake?
Yes. The never been any reason.
Olivet Diner?
Yeah, but what's the band?
Head East.
Head East.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that guy came
That guy
out.
came out.
Yeah,
Roger Boyd,
With
yeah.
Roger.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
So many. Oh, one time I remember Jen we had to do a broadcast. I think it was after the Joplin tornado. Remember that? Was it Easter Sunday?
Sounds right.
We did a big fundraiser where we were asking for different things, and we did a live broadcast. And Jen was very pregnant, and she was so mad and thought somebody that didn't like her set her up because she sat down in a chair and broke it. Oh, she was mad about that. She was real aggravated.
I also keep thinking about, speaking of her getting, Jen, thinking of Lance, we'd do some break and, Jen liked to talk and she would get going. She'd start sometimes with not really sure where she was going and she'd go and go and go and go and we'd all kind of be looking at her and it would end and she'd just be rambling and then we'd all kind of talk and then, the mics would go off and she'd be like, boy, Lance is talking a lot today.
Listen, we work together like this. We all get on each other's nerves. That's what happens.
Yeah,
we do. It's just the way it is.
But it was always after Jen took like 5 minutes to tell some story and it was like to throw it
Poor
on
Lance. Poor Lance. Today we are honoring our friend and sometimes enemy, no, I'm just kidding, Jen, and we're playing a lot of her music. You're going to hear some weird stuff coming up. Besides Def Leppard. Def Leppard is our artist.
You will hear that.
But you're going to hear that coming up. Tap the app. That's going on. That's your artist of the day. But we're going to do a nice little sweep of some Jen songs.
Jen
her favorite
favorites,
playlist.
and
This is her playlist.
And boy, she loved Ludo, right, guys? I mean, she really
Celebrated the whole catalog,
Sometimes
really.
she'd stream on Spotify. Sometimes she'd stream on iTunes. It was really...
What'd she think of the new song?
Oh, loved the new song, Dead Man's Party.
wow.
She's big.
And again, Halloween tonight, tomorrow,
Yes, yeah.
Sunday.
Yeah.
I know you got to get out of here, but lots more Jen songs coming up. So if you don't adjust your radios, just know that these are all her favorites, and we want to try to get in as many as we can.
Yeah, and please take a second to find the GoFundMe. We've got links on our socials. It's on the blog. Please, give a little bit if you can. But yeah, I'm glad I got to be here. I love you guys and
Love you.
Thanks for having me.
It's the Courtney Show on the Arch.
The Courtney Show.
I'm loving hearing from all of you guys about listening and what you guys took away from the show. We are honoring our friend Jen Myers today, who died yesterday at the age of 49, and we really would love for you to go donate to her GoFundMe page, which you can find at 1065thearch.com. Look at today's blog. The link is there for you to donate to help Ryan, Finn, and Nora navigate through this just terrible time that they're going through. But I know that it's been fun sharing all these stories about Jen with you. I love this from Amanda. Amanda said, "Hey, Courtney, we're so sorry for the loss of your friend Jen. My friend and I used to listen to your show with Guy, and we'd always talk about it. We're sitting here today shedding tears with you. Love hearing your stories about the good times and even the hard times between you all. I loved how different you two were. She always ate all the healthy food, and you bashed it all the time. LOL. I remember when she made a baked oatmeal, and you were totally opposed. She emailed me the recipe." I don't know. I think baked oatmeal sounds pretty good. She used to make some stinky stuff.
Oh, really?
Like real just lots of veggies that she was baking in the oven at work, and it was very early in the morning, and it would just waft through the whole building.
You guys had an oven over there.
We had an oven.
It's a whole other world.
Very, very fancy. But we are also honoring Jen with one of her greatest loves, and that was music. I mean, she loved music. Her playlist was wide and a little bit of everything, except for Def Leppard. That is your artist of the day today for Tap the App. So we want to try to get in as many songs as we can this last 30 minutes, and it's going to be a little all over the place because she had lots of things that brought her joy on her favorite playlist. And one of the things that brought her joy in the past couple years, she loved the Barbie movie. Loved it. I mean, it was one of her very favorite things. I think she loved seeing it with her daughter. And, of course, she loved when Ryan Gosling performed I'm Just Ken. So this is a part of Jen's favorite playlist. It's from the Barbie movie, I'm Just Ken. It's The Courtney Show on the Arch.
The Courtney Show.
Well, Goo Goo Dolls, big part of Jen Meyer's life because the Goo Goo Dolls are from Buffalo, and Ryan, her husband, when he proposed to her, she was interviewing the Goo Goo Dolls in the studio, and he had arranged he had let the band know that he was going to propose to her during her interview
you're kidding.
the Goo Goo Dolls. Yes, because they were from Buffalo. He thought it was a great idea.
Yeah.
So she has a great love for the Goo Goo Dolls because of that.
I'm sure.
I know. So we are we're playing all of Jen's favorite artists, and Brando, actually, you shared the playlist, her fave playlist, on the blog today.
Yep. Yeah, it's the second thing on there. So first is the GoFundMe, and then the second link is for this playlist.
A lot of people have been requesting it, so you can see it on the blog today and see all that Jen was in her musical loves. And so we're going to continue. We're going to try to get as many more songs as we can that, to me, say Jen. I mean, they really do. I mean, you heard the Xanadu. The song that we're going to end the show with really says Jen to me, too, but very layered. She had a great love of music, and music is just good for the soul. So turn it up. You're going to like a lot of the songs that are coming up, but we do need to give tickets away for Coco at the Stiefel Theater, along with the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra. That is next Saturday and Sunday. We have a pair of tickets to give away for Saturday's performance of Coco with the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra. Caller 10 right now at 314-954-1065, 618-398-1065. Caller 10 will win those tickets. And this is another one of Jen's favorites. She loved Liz Farrett. Supernova on The Courtney Show.
The Courtney Show.
That's David Gray, Sail Away. That is from Jen's Faves playlist. These are all her favorite songs. We're just trying to honor Jen with her favorite music, which brought her so much comfort. She loved music, which is why she got into radio. And I had the opportunity to work with Jen for 14 years, and I still can't believe it's real. I just really can't. And she fought breast cancer for 8 years. And we're thinking about her incredible family, her husband Ryan, her kids Finn and Nora, and all of her friends who were family here in St. Louis. They supported her. They rallied around her at every turn. And they've been on this journey just as long. And we're just thinking about them. And they all love music too. I think that's how they all came together. They're all music nerds in every way. So I know that they're all loving this as well today. And Ryan's been texting a lot today, and I'm really happy that Ryan has been touching base with us this morning. He brought up the deviled egg contest.
That's one of my favorite stories.
And I believe that Ryan kind of is the reason for it, because I think, if my memory is correct, I think Jen brought up that Ryan loved deviled eggs, and then Guy and our eyes lit up, and we had a fight about how good deviled eggs were. We love deviled eggs. And somehow during this, we turned it into, you know what? We're going all in. We had a deviled egg contest where people brought in their deviled egg recipes, and we tried them, and it was a bad idea. It was and we were laughing so hard. Like, why are we doing this? You cannot eat that many deviled eggs, and they didn't all look good. I don't know what we were thinking.
You don't know what you're going to get.
But the deviled egg, we were sick. And then I think our conference room was even all glass.
So everyone's just
I
staring
don't
at you,
even know.
looking at the deviled eggs.
Another funny thing I remember when Jen was pregnant with Nora, she was a little worried about Nora because when Nora was born, she had lots of my traits. We think that maybe she heard too much of me while she was in Jen's stomach.
In utero.
Yes. We think that she heard way too much of me and may have gotten a few of her personality traits from me. So I apologize for that. But yeah, it's been a blessing to talk about it today. I think yesterday I didn't speak hardly.
Oh, I'm sure.
Do you know what I mean?
You're
I
just kind of in shock.
My brain was just holding everything in and being able to release it today with Guy and with Tim and with Lance and with you, and it's just felt good. It's felt like a celebration, and that's what I wanted today to be. I didn't know what I wanted today to be. I knew I wanted to honor Jen, but I had no idea coming into today what it would sound like, and her music has been a source of comfort for me today.
Yeah.
And we're going to try to get in a few more of her songs. We're ending with one that when I think of Jen, I think of this song specifically. But we're going to try to get a few more of those songs in as we honor Jen. Congratulations, by the way. We gave those tickets away for Coco at the St. Louis Symphony at Stiefel Theater for next weekend, Saturday night. They have 4 tickets to see Coco next Saturday, and the winner was Christine Sosa of Belleville. So congratulations to Christine. More Jen Myers playlist coming up. It's The Courtney Show on The Arch.
The Courtney Show.
Today was all about Jen and us just paying a little tribute to her, and through her music you guys have gotten to know her a little more because this was her playlist. These were all her favorites. Big Country Lance has joined us back in the studio. And we've gotten so many texts, and I'm planning on figuring out a way I can share all of these with her husband Ryan.
Yeah, he would I think he'd be really touched by some of the things people have shared on text.
Just the moments in passing when she's met somebody or spent time with them, or the things that stand out about her. It's her legacy.
It is. And, the thing is, I think we are guilty behind the scenes in these rooms with these microphones. We're always trying to think of what's going to be the big, impactful thing we can do. And a lot of times, it's just the small little interactions and human kindnesses and abilities to connect, just eyesight 101 that registers with people. It's not necessarily the big things that we've had 15 staff
Oh my gosh, it's
about.
Crazy. It's those little moments.
Right, exactly right.
And hopefully you got to see a little more of Jen than you knew before today. And if you never listened to the show and you just started here, you definitely got to know her a lot better. I mean, we had a lot of laughs today talking about some of those stories. I want to read a couple texts.
Sure.
Before we leave, somebody said a person's playlist speaks a lot about them. I can tell by the music that we would have been friends. Good for you guys to pay tribute. Somebody else said, I moved here from Texas. After I got married, I didn't have any friends, only extended family. Listening to you guys every morning made me laugh and I felt less lonely. I now have lots of friends and I'm just heartbroken for y'all. Hugs. Thanks for this memorial for sweet Jen. It was needed for so many that she touched. And then I like this one too. Jen's story, sort of. Like many St. Louisans, I didn't personally know her, although I felt like I did, and was a longtime fan since Courtney's days at the other place. However, my sons are a different story. They met Jen's children years ago as fellow campers at Camp Kesem. Their friendship has continued as my sons attend the same high school as Finn. I felt my heart break a second time from Jen's passing, as I had to share the news with them that their friend's mom fight had ended. Even though many of the GTG and your listeners may not realize, your pizza parties supporting Camp Kesem's benefits kids and mine and Jen's. Thank you. That's why we chose Camp Kesem as one of those charities.
Yeah, that's true. We probably don't talk about that enough.
No, we don't. And every one of our stops, because you guys go in and buy pizza, they make a donation, and
everybody thinks they're donating to Casey Kasem. Like some camp that he said. No.
That and the Belleville Area Humane Society. We've also gotten some texts about the playlist not being there. It is up on the blog. today. You just have to probably,
It's literally the second thing on there. I think it just says Jen's favorite songs.
yeah, just refresh. That's what I told him to do. Yeah. When in doubt, I don't know anything about anything, but refresh.
Yep.
Restart.
Can't hurt.
Yeah, turn it off and turn it back on. All right, thank you guys for being with us today. It's been tough, and I don't know what we would have done without you there, because it was a mess in my head. I know that.
And I think with downtime over the weekend, it's probably going to get messier.
Right.
I mean, we've been distracted by doing this today, but with free time over the weekend and some opportunity to ruminate on it.
Yeah. Well, the music has been a source of just bringing me so much Jen joy.
Yeah.
And when I thought of this yesterday, I want to do Jen songs because she loves music so much, which is why she got into radio. The very first song I thought of was this. When I texted her husband, Ryan, for the playlist, this is the only song he mentioned.
And Guy just about mentioned it this morning.
Yes, I told him
he was
don't.
thinking of the exact same song.
When I think of Jen, I think of Philip Bailey and Phil Collins and Easy Lover. We love you, Jen. And we love you, Ryan, Finn, Nora. Go to 1065thearch.com and see how you can help their family. Thanks, St. Louis. We'll see you next week.
Well, guys, that was another great podcast. Thanks for listening. If you're hungry, we have food for you at Salt and Smoke at various locations. saltandsmokebarbecue.com. 314-727-0200.